Welcome to this series of screencasts about Web for the Job. In this screencast, we're going to discuss the desktop panel. The desktop panel is the first panel you see after you sign in, and the last panel before you sign out. While it can be configured according to the user's needs, the default layout of the desktop panel for the admin user constitutes of the following parts: the drop-down menus, the workspace, and the authorization menu. Let's take a deeper look at these parts one by one. The first drop-down is called the User drop-down menu. It is labeled with the name of the currently logged-in user, and it contains commands related to the user session. The second drop-down is called the Tools drop-down, and it contains commands related to the design and localization of panels. The first command under the User drop-down is the Save Desktop command. As the name implies, the Save Desktop command enables users to save a customized layout of their desktop. For example, assuming that I would like to find by default the authorization menu collapsed when I sign in, I can click on this spot to collapse the menu, and then I can click on the Save Desktop command. Now if I sign out, and then sign back in, my desktop will be exactly as I saved it. Of course, this is just a small example of what I can do with the Save Desktop command. In the following screencasts, you will have the opportunity of viewing how useful this command can be when the panels start piling up on your desktop. Next in line is the Session Information command. The SI command launches the homonymous panel that contains technical information about the user session. This can come in handy when you need to relay this information during a technical support request. However, it should be noted that for security reasons, the server-related fields are revealed only to the users of the administrative group. The next command is the Change Password command. You use this command to change your password. As usual, you're first expected to fill in your current password. And then you should fill in and confirm a new password at least 4 characters long. The following command is the About command, which launches the About dialog. The About dialog gives you information related to the version of Web for the Job and other significant plugins. In this screencast, we use the sandbox release of Web for the Job. Therefore, you can see the admin's username and password for the visitor's convenience. Of course, these do not exist in the production releases of Web for the Job. Last but not least in the User drop-down is the Sign Out command. It has been demonstrated earlier that by using this command, we can terminate our current Web for the Job session. Let's move on to the Tools drop-down menu. The first command under the Tools drop-down is the Design Panel command, which is basically a container of sub-commands. The Design command and its sub-commands are fundamental to the user interface engine of Web for the Job because they enable users to instantly create panels for the particular needs of each business domain. Although it is not the subject of this screencast, we can go through a quick warm-up example of how this works. Let's assume that we want to build a panel that lists the users of our web application. In terms of Web for the Job, this is achieved by using a list view panel. Hence, we start by clicking on the blank list view command. Then, we select the user's entity type as the target type for our panel and provide a friendly name, let's say My Users List. Finally, we save the panel and exit the design mode. That was all. I have now a fully functional user interface for managing my users. I can insert, update, delete, and query my users. For example, If I want to have a list of all the users in my system, I can click on the query command and then OK. After that, I get my list. And this is just the beginning. Watch the following screencasts for fully understanding how powerful the panel design features of Web for the Job can be. The next command is the design mode command. You can use this command in order to put the entire application in design mode. This is useful when you want to modify the existing user interface. You can tell a panel is in design mode by the design command that appears always at the leftmost position of the panel's toolbar. The reason you see more than one design buttons in your desktop right now is because the desktop panel is in reality nothing more than a combination of child panels nested in a hierarchy. You can click on the highlight command to see where each panel starts and ends. This feature of using panel hierarchies for building a user interface for the end users of your web application is extremely flexible. Stay tuned for a presentation of how this works in more details in the following screencasts. The next command is the localization mode command. Similar to the design mode, the localization mode command, when checked, will display in the rightmost position of each panel's toolbar the localization button. This button will open up a dialog with all the string resources that each panel type uses. This way, you can easily copy-paste these strings to a notepad, translate them to the desired language, and then save the translations to a special directory in your web server for immediate usage. The final command under the Tools drop-down is the refresh context command. This command invalidates all application caches, forcing the reload of elements like panels and localized resources, a feature that can save you valuable time during phases of extensive panel design and localization. The last part of your desktop is the authorization menu. We have already shown that this menu can be collapsed and expanded. Additionally, it can be resized. When the menu is collapsed, you can expand it either temporarily by clicking anywhere on this bar, or permanently by clicking on this arrow at the top. True to its name, the authorization menu displays a tree view structure of all the panels accessible to the user currently logged in. By clicking on each panel name, the user can launch the respective panel and start working with it immediately. The structure of this tree view is controlled by the roles and the authorization policies that this user is a member of. In the next screencasts, you can find more information about these security features of Web for the Job and how they can be utilized in order to control fully what the end users see and access. That was all. Thanks for watching and keep watching.